all right. Straw Hats assemble. Yo, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. Finally, after this long arc that I'm sure isn't even done yet, the movie Wire Crew is finally together, all together in one panel, ready to kick ass. I'm super excited. To review this chapter. There's a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. So first of all, I apologize. I'm a little tired and I didn't write down notes on this chapter like I normally do before I do my reviews. So I'm going to be switching between doing this video and like refreshing my memory. So that's going to happen. So I apologize ahead of time. But anyway, let's just jump right in. The first thing we're going to talk about, like we always talk about, is the cover story. So we're going to talk about Pound because for some reason Oda's been having fun, just, I don't know, doing a roller coaster of emotions with him. So honestly, I'm I'm over it. So in this cover story here, let me pull it up real quick. In this cover story, we have, him showing, it's called if it's proof you need, it's right to here. And he's showing them a picture of them when they were babies, which is adorable. But honestly, I'm super over this particular cover story. Like, I just feel like like there's so many other side stories I care about more than this. And I just feel like this cover story didn't have to be as long as it's been. Like, I get it. Like, it's reuniting him with his daughters and then like, oh, psych. But now, no, for real. So, we'll see how it goes and like what it means for like the story in the future. But I please let this be the last one. I'm so over it. All right, diving right into the chapter, we have Luffy and Yamato jumping on right in. Big Mom's been hit, which, by the way, we'll get into later. But the look on Shinobu and Momo's face when she says, when Yamato says, "I am Odin, I'll protect you," is fucking pure comedic fucking genius, bro. I geeked so hard. The way they're like, what? They're like, what are you fucking talking about? And so like, it's gonna be fun. I like when all this is over, done with her explaining her whole, I'm Kazuki Odin because like he's cool and he's the ultimate man, so I want to be him. Like, that's just gonna be funny. Nami hugging Frankie, who's just sitting there stoic, like, yeah, I hit a Yonko with my bike, no big deal. Like, that part was funny. Oh man. Oh, and then Hyogoro is out here putting in work. I know it's an insignificant member, but this little panel of him cutting somebody's axe, that's pretty dope. So like, he's not completely useless. I mean, he's been fighting this whole time, but it's good to see that, like, he's putting in work. So, and bro, I'm wondering actually, just in fact, how strong Hyogoro is, because as I mentioned earlier, where he cut that axe, there's a panel later on down in the chapter, where he's like, let's take on the Flying Six, and I'm like, bro, those are like the highest tier before the calamities. Like, do you think you're capable of fighting with them on that level as you currently are? So that's something I'm very interested and curious to see, because like, that just kind of seems like a stretch. I don't know how strong he is currently. I got the impression that yes, he did used to be extremely, extremely strong in his prime, but he's fallen such a long way. So we'll see the extent of that. I'm just not buying it right now. One of my favorite moments of the chapter comes up next, and basically, like, Frankie shows up, Brooke shows up, and Nami wants to run, and Frankie's like, you're forgetting we're the crew of the future Pirate King, like the man who's going to become Pirate King. And I love that. I think we've needed that for a long time now. This is Wano. This is one of the last like arcs before like shit gets real. This is going to be a turning point cornerstone arc of the series, and I'm very happy. Like this, it's here where I think the group needs to understand that. Like it's for example, it kind of parallels back when Odin was becoming was the one destined to be Shogun or whatever, and they were like, we are Odin's retainers, so we have to start acting like it. I love that. It perfectly paralleled that part where Luffy's crew, where the Pirate King's crew. So it's time for us to start acting like that. And my man charges up his radical beam and is ready to send it, flying at Big Mom, a Yonko. That is so hard. On top of that, like moments before that, Brooke was roasting her. Like he literally called her an old hag. Like these guys, for some reason, have no fear of Big Mom, and I do not understand why. I'm fucking with it, but like I'm really confused. Next up, we finally see the numbers. We've been wondering about the numbers for a long time, and this chapter gives us some insight. We find out that they're ancient giants. So the biggest thing for me, however, before I get into that though, so they're ancient giants, and apparently they're from Punk Hazard. I'm just going to assume they're from Punk Hazard before Akainu and Aokichi had their fight, and I'm going to assume that they were created by Vegapunk instead of Caesar, just simply because Caesar could barely turn some kids into regular giants, and these, even though they are failed experiments, seem a lot more stable. So I'm just going to credit this to Vegapunk once again. All right. My biggest concern or issue, I should say, with this chapter is when they were described as big as oars, because visually they do not look any bigger than a typical giant in One Piece from what I've seen. So to say that they are as big as oars, who was like a giant amongst giants, is a little much. But you can't argue if Otis says something, that's what it is. So like, I don't know. I would have preferred something visually to really attest to that, but fuck it, I guess. After that, my second favorite gag of the chapter, when Usopp is in the brachio tank and he is like passed out unconscious, and then Frankie's like, we're gonna do a docking or a transformation, and like this man just wakes up. Like, there were so many gags in this chapter. I was just geeking. I was so hyped because like there were some great moments, there were some gags, but that one really got me going, like the excitement over the transformation. I'm really excited because it seems like every time a docking takes place, it just gets better and better. Originally, it was the fake mock docking where they use their bodies. Then he actually had General, like, was it General Frankie? I forget though, but he had a legit docking with his other stuff, and now we're gonna see a docking for the third time, and I'm sure it's gonna be better than ever. So I'm actually very excited for that. This next part of the chapter, I have such huge conflictions on. I'm not really a fan of, and that was Jinbei and Robin fucking up Big Mom. And to be real with you, I love Jinbei, I love Robin, and I'm happy to see them get some shine. Because like for the longest time, like they're not considered let's say they're not considered the monster trio, but that's we're not going to get into that. Basically, when you think of the Straw Hat crew, you have the high tier and the low tier. The high tier being Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, and the low tier being Chopper, Usopp, and Nami, right? So like Robin has always been in this awkward place in the Straw Hat crew where, because of her devil fruit and like her past, she's a strong ally, and we've always seen her like handle fodder, but we haven't really had her have any significant fights, and that's been kind of bothersome. And then Jinbei, he's a warlord of the sea, but once again we haven't really seen him tangle with too many big bads. And so this was a really, really good time to showcase their respective strengths. However, for them to easily manhandle a Yonko, it bothers me tremendously because like you could easily take this as you could easily take this as, you know, a display or representation of their current power and strength, but also like, which I think most people are going to do, you're going to take this as like Big Mom being weak. Like this is the this is like what the sixth time now that we've just seen Big Mom be embarrassed, be made a joke out of. Like I don't, Oda, I'm not liking this. Like I know you usually don't do things without a purpose, and I'm just going to assume that the purpose of this is to have Big Mom. Like I'm hearing rumors and like that people say it's just like so she can come back and fuck shit up, and it's just that more devastating because you're not expecting it. But like, ugh, I don't know, man. I just feel like there's better ways to do this because right now you're just really punking your character who's supposed to be like, you know, the Yonko. They're supposed to be like the big bads of the series, like, you know, greater than admiral level. Like, I don't know. Big Mom, it has the epithet of like the world's strongest woman, and like it's she's not giving it a good look right now. Let's just say so that kind of disappointed me. On the flip side, though, I'm still shipping Robin and Jinbei. Team Robin Jinbei. I come up with a clever name, Rabe, Rabe, Jibbin, Rambe. Oh, not Harambe. Anyway, I ship them. They're very cute. Like I said before, they're the most mature in the crew. The fact that she was like, "How did I do?" Trying to like seek like reassurance from him and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool. So I think that there's definitely something there. And then we go to the towards the end of the chapter where Luffy is heading up to fight Kaido. Finally, Queen does something, steps in. I think it was hilarious how the whole time, like they're talking about going up, they're just ignoring the shit out of Queen, and Queen has to literally transform and stop them. So this is going to be pretty interesting. It looks like maybe Luffy and Zoro are going to respectively have to fight King and Queen. You know, I thought that'd be other people. So this is gonna set up for a lot of things. First, it's gonna let us flesh out the fight with the Scabbards. Like that'll be its own thing. They're not gonna get help. So this will lead to obviously some Scabbards dying, maybe some Scabbards getting some good hits in. So yeah, this will lead to little other little fights with the Calamities. I forget where Jack is currently, but you know, hopefully Luffy and Zoro are, you know, two like swamped fighting King and Queen. I honestly don't think it's an issue as people that both like the community thinks may have a hand in fighting Kaido. If they're not able to handle his commanders, that'll be an issue. Um, one thing One thing I had a big problem with. I'm so freaking angry about this. Hyogoro, what is wrong with you, fam? Why would you jinx everyone? This man says it still doesn't seem like it doesn't feel like we're going to lose. And I think he said that twice in this chapter. Bro, why the fuck would you drop a fucking death flag? Or a failure flag, I should say. He is completely like this is his and Oda's way of being like, ha. Like I follow this one dude, Mr. Morgan. He's been talking about this for a while, and he said that he thinks the Fire Castle is going to end in failure. And this, if anything, is just confirmation of that, in my opinion. Like I agree with Mr. Morgan basically simply because this is pretty much how every arc has gone. Like Luffy rarely ever wins on the first major fight. I'm trying to think if he's ever won the first major fight with a major villain. And so like yeah, dude, I figured it wouldn't be too easy. Also, it has to be on a stage where after he defeats said villain, everyone can see. And so right now, like they're very far removed from all the villagers. So I think that the second and final confrontation is going to have to be somewhere public or somewhere where like when he gets knocked out, like he'll land in one of maybe like Onigashima or something like that. and the people will see them defeated. Because like I said in my other videos, one of the most important things about like Luffy defeating villains and dethroning tyrants and all that is the people have to see it. The people have to witness it and believe it. They have to see this, this oppressive power that has been holding over them be defeated, so that it's real. Because if they don't see that, it's just not real. So yeah, we have a long way to go. And then the chapter finishes with pure, beautiful glory, all the Straw Hats together. Am I a little disappointed that Yamato's not in it, that Carrot's not in it? Slightly, but they're not true Straw Hats. We don't know if they're going to be Straw Hats. If they did show up, however, in this last panel, then it would have been a definite, like, okay, they're official members of the crew, but they're not. But I do love this. We haven't seen a panel like this in quite some time. We haven't seen the Straw Hats each get individual fights in a long time. So I'm very, very excited to see how this goes. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry if this review was a little bit impromptu. Like I said, I'm a little tired. I didn't really do my notes that well. But we are in for some amazing, amazing, amazing chapters coming up, and I'm excited. So anyway, if you like this video and what I have to say, please like, share, subscribe. I said last week on one of my videos that I'm going to post a video about like my plans for this channel, all that stuff. That's still coming. I've just been swamped. School started and all that. So yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of time managing. I'm gonna have a hard time managing my time, but I'll do it. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in.